Texas football looks to continue their winning ways. Coming off the bye week, the soccer team hopes to make a deep run into the postseason, and the World Series is officially underway. All this and more on College Crossfire.
I guess we'll get into it. Always enthusiastic, unbelievable, hard-nosed.
All right, let me explain why Aaron Judge is getting it. You can boo me all you want.
I knew Texas was going to win, and then one of the Texas team was going to lose.
Hammy. I don't like the Hammy.
Oh, wait, you don't like this guy?
All right, I'm done. This is all chaos.
Welcome into College Crossfire. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm your host, Jonathan Polasek. We've got a lot to discuss, but before we do, let's meet our panel, starting with our returning champion, Zach Leff. Zach, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It was fun to win last week, and I hope to get another one this week.
Hope to get another one. Hope to make it a two-game win streak. Up next, we've got Jocelyn Maldonado making her Crossfire debut. Yay. Jocelyn, how are you feeling?
I'm excited.
Excited?
Yes.
Excited to have you on.
Thank you.
And then last but not least, Eric Goodman, our sports director. He's back on for another go at it. Eric, how you doing?
Well, I've done, you and I have done this a lot, so I know to come prepared. So I did with a little bit of
water. A little bit of water. Yeah, we're having a little problem here.
At a premium these days here in the 40 acres, but nothing too bad.
Just a little bit, but oh well. Glad to have you all here on tonight. Let's just jump right on in. Texas football has an important question to answer regarding the quarterback position heading into their matchup against Oklahoma State. Sam Ehlinger was knocked out of the Baylor game 2 weeks ago with a grade 1 AC sprain, but backup Shane Buechele came in and helped lead the Longhorns to victory. While Ehlinger has made progress and is on schedule to start, should he start, or should Texas remain cautious and go with Buechele? Let's start with Zach.
Yeah, if Sam is cleared to play, the Longhorns need to start Sam this week. Sam has been great for the 6 games that we won this year so far, and he's really been comfortable with the team. The team trusts him. He's the leader now, and Sam needs to understand that if he's not okay, he needs to tell his teammates, because Shane is a capable backup. Shane started plenty of games for the Longhorns, and Shane knows how to run this team and had a week to prepare. So ultimately for the Longhorns, Sam is the one who needs to start. But if he's not ready, Shane is definitely possible and could be a good backup in the future.
So if Sam's not 100%, go with Shane. Yeah, I think that's a safe answer. Jocelyn?
I'm going with Sam because he's been a key aspect to Texas offense in running the ball and all the touchdowns he's scored for us. So, and also the comfortability for the team. Like, they're already used to Sam. So I feel like they should definitely keep him. But however, if Tom Herman sees Sam not throwing well, his arm is showing like not 100%, he should definitely put Shane in, because this is like really important game for Texas and deciding their future.
Yeah, Texas needs to win this game, and Sam is the key to running the ball, and he does like to lower that shoulder. So if he's not 100%, maybe you do give it to Shane. Eric?
So I'm not a doctor. I don't know if this is the kind of injury that has a high risk of compounding into something that could take Sam Ehlinger out for the whole season. But if it's not, and Ehlinger is at least 90% and capable of playing and playing well, it has to be Sam Ehlinger. I know Tom Herman loves Shane Buechele and the role he's played as a backup quarterback. On the field 2 Saturdays ago, I didn't see anything that convinced me that he was capable of taking Texas past these tough road games that they have to play. And the thing is, when we get to this stage of the season, every game's an elimination game. Texas has their one loss already. You can't put Sam in the bank because you think you can bring him out later in a more important game. There are no more important games than the next one up, because if you lose it, you're out. And so it's got to be Sam if he's healthy.
Yeah, each week Texas has to go 1-0, as Tom Herman would say. Otherwise, they don't have a shot at the college football playoffs. They could potentially miss out on the Big 12 playoffs. Things don't go their way. You know what? I'm giving all of y'all the point to start out. I think Sam needs to start. If he's ready to go, if he's healthy, you got to give it to Sam. He's your best shot to win. It's no knock on Shane. Shane's a good quarterback, but Sam is the reason that this team is where they are right now. Moving on to Texas soccer, they will end their regular season tomorrow against the Red Raiders in Lubbock. It's been another successful regular season for the 17th ranked Longhorns as they finished non-conference play undefeated and have a chance to finish 3rd in the Big 12. Last year saw Texas make it to the 3rd round of NCAA play, so what would constitute a successful postseason for the Longhorns this year? Start with Jocelyn.
I think they at least making it to the Sweet 16 like they did last year would constitute success because they still have a pretty young team. Same with a lot of returners still. Haley Burke, Sierra Hinson, Nicole Curry, and the Canadian Julia Grosso. So, like, it's really strong team still offensively and defensively. So I think keeping the consistency will definitely show success for soccer. And, I mean, you can't expect every team to be blank and go completely without a loss. So that's how you constitute how the success in this team. So definitely going into Sweet 16 will be success. Consistency is key.
Yeah, I think consistency is key. Longhorns are ranked 17th, so that's right about 16. Your top 16 team, you should make it probably to at least the Sweet 16. Eric?
This team has given me way too many memories and reminders of last year's team, which is not a bad thing at this stage because both teams started the season off with crazy long winning streaks, then kind of tapered a little bit when they got into like the heart of Big 12 play. And then last year, Texas gets into the NCAA tournament, or in the Big 12 tournament, loses early there. NCAA tournament loses in the second round there. And I don't know what would lead me to believe that things are going to be different this year. And so, you know, if Texas can make a Sweet 16, that's a nice step up. But let's be honest, I mean, I hate to be that guy about the non-revenue sports, but if they're not making a Final Four, then as far as like the profile around campus, I don't think they're going to make much noise, whether it's, you know, a Sweet 16, Elite 8. So it's a Final Four bust for me.
So where do you think that they end up getting as far as they're going to get this year?
I hate to be pessimistic, but I mean, maybe one game more than they got, so a round of, maybe that is the Sweet 16.
The Sweet. They were in the third round last year when they
Yeah.
lost to Duke. They were the number 3 team in the country,
Yeah.
losing 3-0. So, yeah, I understand. It could be the road gets tougher as you move along.
Yeah,
Zach?
those are all great points there. I think this team has great talent. Nicole Curry in goal, Sierra Henson, Alexa Adams, all great talent. For this team, the big key here is after this Texas Tech game, going into the Big 12 tournament, being confident and having a strong run. Because usually teams that have strong runs and strong big conference tournament runs, typically will do well in tournaments. Because the NCAA tournament in any sport is unpredictable. You're not going to know what's going to happen. And for the Longhorns, they got out in the third round last year. But this year, if they do have a strong run, because the team has done super well, then winning and like something like winning the Big 12 tournament, then who knows? That could propel them to a Final Four run. Now, realistically, we'll have to see, but I think this team has plenty of talent to make that Final Four run.
You know what, Zach, I'm giving you the point because it is important for Texas. They've got to come into the Big 12 tournament hot. They've got to play well. They can't lose out first game of the Big 12 tournament and expect to make a bunch of noise in the NCAA tournament. So Texas, they got to come out firing, and I think if they do, they could have the potential to make a serious run into postseason play. Moving on to basketball, Karen Aston has really made the women's basketball team into a contender during her tenure here at Texas. Last year saw the Longhorns make a Sweet 16 appearance for the 4th consecutive year, but Texas lost 2 key players from that squad, Brooke McCarty and Ariel Atkins. As Texas gears up for another season, can this Texas team really make a deep postseason run? Start with Eric.
I do not see a deep postseason run in the future of this Texas team. You mentioned Brooke McCarty, Ariel Atkins, who were leaders on the team, not just their senior year, but you know, for Brooke McCarty in some cases as early as sophomore year. And because they got time to play, both of those players and recent players got time to play when they were young, and Karen Aston did not allow that last year for players like Destiny Littleton, Chastity Patterson, maybe it's Chastity, no, yeah, that's correct. And so they don't come in with any kind of good experience. Neither of them averaged any more than 5 points a game last year. And then you come in and plug a hole with grad transfer from Texas A&M, number 2 recruit, Charlie Collier. Hopefully she gets more playing time than some of the freshmen last year got. But you add that all together, I think Texas is going to have kind of a rebuilding year, which you can afford to have in women's basketball when all players stay 4 years. But I wouldn't be too optimistic this year.
Yeah, losing their top 2 players hurts because, like you said, the backups just didn't have much time to play themselves. Zach?
Yeah, watch, losing that those 2 seniors definitely hurts the team. But Karen Aston has created a program at Texas that has such a high pedigree, such a high expectation at this point. So for Texas and the women's basketball team, I would disagree saying it's necessarily a rebuild, but Texas basketball has now become a reload almost, because when you get 2 top 10 recruits, that will be valuable to your team because they can come in and instantly make an impact. And a person like Danny Williams, who's a great shooter, can also make an impact. So, watch, the Big 12 is tough, But in the tournament, like I said was before, is unpredictable. But with this team, you never know, and I think they can make a run, but we'll have to just see and wait for the season to come.
Yeah. This Texas team, they have the potential, they have the young players, but can they provide the results? That's the real question for Karen Aston. Jocelyn?
Sadly, I do not see them going far because, I mean, even Karen Aston said it in her recent press conference. She said this is a work in progress, this team. So I do not see them going far. Plus, a lot of the team has some injuries. Like, they recently recruited a freshman, Sedona Prince, and she already is out for the season. So I do not see them going far.
Yeah, Texas, this really does look to be a rebuilding year for the Longhorns. I'm going with Eric getting the point because, I mean, you can't lose your two best players and expect to bounce back, be just as good as you've been the past 4 years. So, you know, Eric, you're getting the point, taking us to break. When we return, we're talking college football unbeatens in the Power 5, and the Dallas Cowboys may have to make a tough decision with Jason Garrett. Stick around. Welcome back to College Crossfire. Let's remind everybody at home of the score. We've got Zach with 2, Jocelyn with 1, and Eric with 2. Still anybody's game. And then there were 3 undefeated Power 5 college football programs left. There are 5 overall if you count UCF and USF, but let's just focus on Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame. All 3 have fairly easy remaining schedules, but which of those 3 is most likely to drop a game before the season ends? Start with Zach.
Yeah, these are all great teams. The team, though, that will probably drop a game before the season ends is Notre Dame. Alabama looks way too good right now. Clemson doesn't have a hard schedule down the stretch. And for Notre Dame team, they actually got through the harder part of their schedule, but they have some games on the road that can really stumble them against a USC, against a Northwestern, teams that had high expectations going into the year, but didn't necessarily live up to them. But their last game especially against USC, because you go into that LA Coliseum, they want to be the spoiler to your college football playoff, just like Miami did to you last year. So I would say it's Notre Dame.
Yeah, USC is definitely going to be tough. Texas saw that firsthand, and Northwestern, they've played pretty well over the course of this season. Jocelyn?
I'm also saying Notre Dame because I just can't see Alabama not being there. You sometimes see them. You sometimes want to see them playing like NFL teams. They're so good. And also Clemson, they have such an easy conference. So I only see Notre Dame losing a game because they still have to show up to their games and prove that they are there to win. Because teams are still they still have to respect the teams, is what I'm trying to say. So I see Notre Dame.
Yeah, Alabama and Clemson, they just have too easy of schedules remaining. Really, Clemson's only biggest test is going to be who they play in the ACC championship game. Eric?
Jonathan, you sound like a fool. Alabama does not have an easy schedule remaining. In fact, it's miles tougher than either of the 2 other teams. You have to go in 2 weeks into Death Valley, and LSU looks like one of the 3 best teams in the country. And then after that, Mississippi State has been in and around and has beaten top 25 teams. And then you have Florida or Georgia, whoever it's going to be out of the SEC East, in a championship game. And Notre Dame doesn't have a conference championship game, so they get a free bye week later in the season where, you can't lose that one. I grant that they're more likely to lose than Clemson, who has just, no one in the ACC is so weak this year. But Nick Saban has only reached bowl season undefeated with Alabama twice, and only one of those did he win the national championship. Alabama's got a way of getting into the playoff, or BCS back in the day. They have a way of getting in with 1 loss, and I think that that's going to be the case again. And I actually am predicting them to lose against LSU when they go into Death Valley.
Well, Eric, you have to remember those Alabama teams, they didn't have a star quarterback. They didn't have a top 10 offense. They didn't have the best offense in college football. Alabama, they are miles and miles better than everybody else. And I think they're just going to show up to LSU, whoop up on LSU, and just cruise through the rest of the SEC.
They'll probably win the championship, but they'll do it with 1 loss.
They could do it with 1 loss, but I don't expect them to do it with 1 loss. I'm going with Zach and Jocelyn. You're both getting the point. I think it's Notre Dame. They've got Northwestern's a sneaky good team. USC's is going to play them tough for sure. So you 2 are getting the points to start us off. We're nearing the midway point of the NFL season. The Dallas Cowboys are currently sitting at 3-4 and are 3rd place in the NFC East. Jason Garrett has been at the helm for 8 years and has only won 1 playoff game during that stretch. With a sub-500 record, he might be on the hot seat. So let's do a little buy or sell. Jason Garrett gets fired mid-season. Start with Jocelyn.
He needs to go. Because like you have a young team, and how are you not capitalizing with Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. And also, a lot of the backlash he's received is just like the complacency. He's just clapping along. It's all right, guys. But this is a young team that you need to put in their place and make them like know how to play, how to resist adversity. They just need to know how. They need a strong coach.
Yeah, it looks like this Dallas offense is really taking a step back. Dak Prescott from his rookie year looks to have regressed immensely. Does not look the same. Eric?
So this is not really a Jason Garrett question as much as it is a Jerry Jones question, because it's no secret what Jason Garrett's there to do. He's there to impose the will of Jerry Jones.
Right.
And so if you are Jerry Jones, you've got to look at the layout of your division. There's no reason at this stage why the Cowboys can't and won't win it. And you see sometimes with teams, when you fire your quarterback and make a coaching change, that kind of galvanizes, and you might get 2 or 3 wins in a row right off of that, and that could be enough for the Cowboys to sneak into the playoffs. Maybe it's a valid point to give Jason Garrett one more crack at it with a new weapon for his offense in Amari Cooper. But if I'm Jerry Jones and things don't improve immediately, then yeah, I'm making a coaching change.
Yeah, he's got his new toy. He's got his #1 wide receiver now. Let's see what he can do with it. Zach?
Yeah, I think this firing should have happened a while ago. I think when Zeke and Dak came in, it basically saved his job for a couple more years, similar when Coughlin won a Super Bowl with the Giants, and that saved his job for years. So with this here with Jason Garrett, I think you should fire him at the end of the year. The team is going to float above 500 probably for the year, and the division's obviously still a close division. That division's not very good at all, the NFC East. So watch, you fire him at the end of the year, and you know what? Go out and get your next Sean McVay. Why not? You can find him. He's in the NFL, or he's in college. Who knows? With Lincoln Riley.
So you just want to wait till the end of the year before you make a decision?
Exactly.
I mean, I think Jason Garrett, he hasn't shown any visible improvement since that outstanding year they had with Zeke and with Dak. Eric, I'm going with you. He's got his #1 wideout now. He's got to show improvement right away. Otherwise, he's got to go. So, Eric, you're getting the point. The World Series is underway. The Boston Red Sox took Game 1 from the Los Angeles Dodgers, while Game 2 is currently in progress at Fenway Park. The Dodgers are seeking their first title since 1988, while the Red Sox last won a title in 2013. These two teams feature a lot of star power, but only one team can win the World Series. So who wins, and in how many games? Start with Eric.
Well, I would be shocked if any of us say the Dodgers are going to win. The Red Sox are going to win this World Series. I don't think you can kind of look at the landscape of baseball, say otherwise. And I think they're going to do it in 4 games. I think it's going to be a clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
One of the Kershaw starts is already out of the way. They got past what the Dodgers' most likely opportunity was for a win. And the Red Sox are too good, too hot. They've already beaten better teams than the Dodgers in this playoff, so they're not going to have any trouble with the Dodgers in 4 games.
Yeah, the Red Sox, every team they've played is probably better than this Dodgers team that they're playing. Zach?
I'm going to go Red Sox in 6. I do think you have to play the Dodgers 3 times in a row at home, and the Red Sox have a predicament with the JD Martinez situation where he's DHs in the AL, and you go to the NL, you don't have a DH, so now you got to take a really good player out of your lineup. That might hurt them for a couple games there, and you get one more Kershaw start. I think he'll bounce back. He's that good of a pitcher. I know traditionally in the postseason he hasn't been, but in the end though, the Red Sox will win. They just have too much firepower, and they have players who just step up. Every time you need someone to step up, they do. And that happened last night with a 3-run homer to make it 8-4 and ultimately win that game. So I'd say Red Sox in 6.
Yeah, I think Game 3 is probably going to be the most important game for the Red Sox to see how they adjust without JD Martinez playing at Dodger Stadium. We'll see. We'll see how well that lineup and that outfield will adjust, because you could slide JD Martinez into the outfield. Jocelyn?
I'm going also with the Red Sox, but I'm saying in 7.
In 7.
I don't know why, but I have this theory that major leagues, NFL, every NBA, they all the corporations, they always try to level out the gameplay as much as they can for revenue. But I know the Red Sox will win. I know the Red Sox will win because they have such a strong hitters, like Mookie Betts. He's on fire. So, yes, Red Sox.
Red Sox in 7. They've got
The fix is in.
They've got probably the most complete team in baseball, 1 through 9, and all the way around the field. But I'm going with Eric. I think 4 is most likely. They've just been absolutely on a roll, taking out the Yankees, taking out the Astros like it was no problem. We're going Red Sox in 4. That's it. Great debate, guys. We've got rapid fire up next. Stick around. Welcome back to College Crossfire. It's time for rapid fire, but let's remind everybody of the score. We've got Zach with 3, Jocelyn with 2, and Eric with 4. Still anybody's game because in rapid fire, each question is worth 2 points, and you can jump in at any time. So let's start with the first rapid fire. We've got Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo. They don't like each other, and that's putting it nicely. Both were suspended multiple games for their fight during the Rockets-Lakers matchup a few days ago. In light of that fight, what's your favorite sports fight of all time?
For me, it's the Mouse and the Palace, 2004.
All right.
I understand it's not a really good fight, and it got into the stands, but it was an intriguing fight. You never seen anything like that really in the NBA before, especially in that early 2000s era, because they were trying to stop it. So watch, it was intriguing, and I mean, it's entertainment, and people love entertainment. That's what it was.
People love entertainment. That they do. Jocelyn, Eric?
I could go the wrestling route here. You know I'm a big wrestling
Oh,
fan,
you're
but I'm
huge
not going to
wrestling
do
fan.
that. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go Nolan Ryan and Jesse Ventura. Rushing them out, and then a little bit of this action right here, giving them the business. Doesn't get better than that. Come on.
I don't know. I'm more in the soccer leagues. Mexico versus USA games always constitute mostly like fights, so I like watching those.
I like seeing that international fight.
Yes.
But you know what? I like Eric's answer. That's the iconic fight I think of when I think of sports fights right there. So Eric, you're getting the 2 points right there. Moving on to when college football moved from the BCS to the playoff format, it was assumed that the new format would fix the issues the BCS had left to determine the 2 best teams. Well, now UCF athletic director Danny White says the playoff is broken and wants to fix it because undefeated teams in the group of 5 aren't getting a fair shake. So how would y'all fix it? How would y'all fix this playoff system?
Can I yield my time to Steve Helwick?
No, you
Okay.
can't do that.
I would extend the playoff 2 more teams, and like they do for bowls, for big bowls, they give that group of 5 or group of 6 the extra 1 spot, so it would be like UCF into a good bowl. I would just do that for the playoff and give the best team that, especially if you go undefeated, you gotta give it UCF. If they win 27 games in a row, how could you not make the playoff, even if the competition is not as steep as other teams?
So you give the top 2 teams a bye then, right? If
Yes,
you're going with
the top
6.
2 teams would deserve
Okay.
a bye. Yes.
Okay. Eric, Jocelyn?
I would have the most undefeated team definitely go farther than the rest, and all the other teams have to fight for it more. So
Right. But how many teams would you want?
Okay, definitely not the large amount that people have kept up with now. Definitely shorten it to about, I say 10 or less.
10 teams or less?
Yeah.
Okay.
Texas is making the playoff then. I'm buying my ticket. Well, I'm not of the opinion that the 14 playoff is broken. I actually quite like it. But for the sake of the question, you've got, I would say, have a wild card for that. The way that the MLB does with their 4th playoff spot, let's do the same thing in college football. The team that would come in 4th by the committee, and then the best non-Power 5 team available, and you can take the Meineke Car Care Bowl. Let's turn that into a playoff wild card, and who's upset with that? One more playoff implication bowl game to watch.
Well, I think we all know Steve would appreciate that over here because then UCF would get their shot at the playoffs and who knows, win a national championship. But I'm going with Zach. I think 6 teams is a good happy medium. You include that highest ranking group of 5 team. Get everybody in there, all the conference championships, or even all the conference champions, even not maybe take in 2 teams from one conference, but I think 6 teams is probably a good way to go. So, Zach, you're getting the 2 points. Final rapid fire. Former Longhorn kicker Justin Tucker has been about as automatic as anything in sports. Tucker had never missed a PAT in his career. It was a streak of 222 attempts. Tucker had also never missed any kick from 33 yards or closer. So that's a total of 300 kicks in his career until he missed the game-tying PAT against the Saints. After missing that kick, Tucker gave us this wide-eyed, crazy look of disbelief. So what do y'all think was going through his mind when he missed that kick and gave us this beautiful meme?
How can it be possible? He's he hasn't missed, so I bet he was in shock.
He's never missed. So yeah, it's just
The
Existential crisis.
The face he gave made it seem like he saw a ghost. He was just like, what happened? He was it just takes it. It's too easy for him. It seems like, and for him to miss it, he was just like, in a state of shock, I think. Yeah.
I just think that's the face of every Oklahoma Sooners fan when they realize that Texas is back.
You know what, Eric? I'm going with you because I think he gives you that look. Oklahoma had that entire face, all 50,000 of them on the other side of the Cotton Bowl 3 weeks ago or whenever it was. So, Eric, you're getting the 2 points. You're getting the win. Do we have time for FaceTime? We do have time for FaceTime.
Good,
Go
because
ahead.
I want to talk about that guy right there. Saquon
Yes.
Barkley is already the most talented non-quarterback player in the NFL. The things he can do, carrying the ball, receiving the ball, and listen. People have been saying, I don't think anybody disputes how great Saquon Barkley is and his Hall of Fame potential already, but people still think the Giants made the wrong choice in picking him over any of these quarterbacks. But here's what I ask. I look at Sam Darnold, I look at Josh Rosen, I look at Josh Allen, I look at Lamar Jackson. Do I see one Super Bowl among those four? No, I don't. And do I see a Super Bowl in Saquon Barkley's future? I would say more than one. So yes, the Giants are tanking, probably intentionally at this point with a fire sale. Probably will get an early pick. Hopefully Justin Herbert comes into the draft so he can be the Giants quarterback. So I think it's all going to end well for the Giants with a Hall of Fame running back for the many years in the near future.
Just get Saquon a quarterback. That's
Yes.
all they're looking for right
Preach.
now.
I love you, Eli. It's over. It's over, Eli.
And it's over for us. That's all the time we have for tonight. Congratulations to our winner, Eric Goodman. Make sure to tune in on Mondays at 9:30 for College Press Box to catch up on the latest sports news on the 40 Acres. And tune in with us next Wednesday at 9 o'clock for more College Crossfire. Don't forget to follow at TSTV Sports on social media. And for all the panelists and everyone in studio master control, I'm Jonathan Polasek. Have a wonderful evening.